Alright, hey everyone, it's TVC Mario, and you're here for another edition of Satanic Illuminati Media Exposed. In today's video, I wanted to go ahead and make a video on the Pepsi commercial that's come out that stars Kendall Jenner, an Illuminati puppet. And one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this is because this really shows us the intention Pepsi had behind them pulling themselves out of YouTube. For those of you who don't know, I'll go ahead and leave this playlist in the description section below. One of the massive stories here on YouTube recently is called YouTube Gate. It's a war between old media and new media. And Pepsi is in fact one of the companies that have pulled out of YouTube. And consequently, YouTube makers, content creators like myself are severely hurting today. Check this out. Walmart, Pepsi Company, and there's a ton of other pull ads over hateful videos. Big brands are flexing their political muscle as they pull even more ads from Google, YouTube, after ads appear next to extremist videos. Okay, so I've talked about this, and if you're not up to speed, take the time, but this actually shows us that we need to boycott Pepsi. They have a political agenda. Listen, Pepsi, I don't want to hear your political views, okay? You go sell your cancer-causing, high-sugar, garbage caffeinated beverages to the people, giving them diabetes and cancer and making them unhealthy, and causing the kids to have all sorts of hyper ADHD and ADD because they're all hopped up on sugar. You can go and sell that garbage to the public. I give you that free right, but I don't want to hear your political views, okay? And stop trying to flex your political muscles. And every YouTuber and everyone who is fighting this war right now, we need to recognize that when companies like Pepsi or Disney, they want to try and impose their political views as a corporate entity, they've crossed the line. Now it's time to boycott them. They're not going to push their political muscle onto us and boycott YouTube and try and push their propaganda. Now pay attention to this, okay? Why have they created a commercial? Why? Because YouTube we provide as content creators the #1 advertising video platform. So instead of advertising with us, guess what they had prepared down the pipeline? This political propaganda garbage commercial, so that while they were making a quote-unquote political statement to the world by pulling their ads because of extremist videos, and as we see, extremist videos is not extremist, okay? Get up to speed on that. They're lying. Now they've just coincidentally come out with an advertised commercial to make up for the advertising they're going to miss out. Well, they're going to get boycotted. I call on every YouTuber and everyone who's part of this YouTube gate and is affected in the community to begin to push back. If they want to push their political muscle, Walmart, Pepsi, and them, well, we have to push back. Okay, and I'm not even left or right. Don't be deceived. I've talked about this on my YouTube channel. I am a firm believer that both the left and right are controlled. It's a two-party controlled system, and that's how they play it out. So don't get me wrong on that. But I don't care. I don't want to see any type of political opinion pushed by a corporate entity. That is just ridiculous. Okay, so now it's time to boycott them. And let's go ahead and look at the actual commercial that they went ahead and put out. And let's look at this political agenda that Pepsi has to push their values onto society, this corporate entity onto us. They go ahead and select one of what I would consider to be the princesses of the Illuminati, one of the puppets, the Kardashian family, the Jenners. Here you can clearly see these guys are occultists, and I'm not even going to waste the time. You just need to be up to speed. These guys are completely sold out to the agenda in the entertainment industry, and that is why Pepsi chose her. Okay, and it's a bad look, by the way, Pepsi. Just to give you a heads up, you don't look intelligent when you're trying to make political statements and you use a Jenner Kardashian there. Good job. Okay, so the commercial is basically this protest, and this is what they're trying to instigate in society. They want to see a revolution. One of the Illuminati's agendas right now, this is why it's so important for them to create the conflict and to control the media as well. is to create a revolution. I'm showing you here even tweets, and we've talked about this in previous videos. Katy Perry calling for a revolution after Donald Trump is elected. Now, I definitely have my disagreements about Trump. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Hillary. I'm not pro-left-right. Remember that. But this is important to recognize how this division is being created, this atmosphere of left versus right, and how the left, particularly right now, are being programmed to revolt. You know, revolution is coming, according to Katy Perry. She just coincidentally had a song called Rise Up. Yeah, okay. Just coincidentally. Yeah, okay. But anyways, this is what's to be expected and seen. They're going to be pushing for this. This is going to cause social chaos. Now, one thing that's, pretty prominent in the left, the liberal side, again, I'm not Republican, I'm not that, but you see this more on the left, is this hippie thing. And anyone out there who's clueless to what the hippie revolution was all about, time to get a little bit of a history lesson. You know, I had my mind warped as well, and when I looked in the past, because of misinformation and misinterpretation of historical fact, I looked at the hippie movement, and I used to think it was a good, peaceful thing. Man, people were loving each other, and it was all good. No. Satan comes masquerading himself oftentimes as a positive thing. This positive movement was Satanism, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Aleister Crowley was basically worshipped by all of these hippies back in the day. Dr. Timothy Leary, who considered himself to be one of his disciples, was very, very prominent, teaching hippies all about yoga and dropping acid, and as he would call it, turn on, tuning in, and dropping out. The actual hippie symbol itself is the crow's foot of Satanism, and that's why Aleister Crowley, the #1 Satanist in the world, who taught about drinking your own urine and eating your own feces and sacrificing children to demons for creative power, shows up on the Beatles cover over here. And the Doors, Jimmy Morrison over here, just was one of his little disciples as well. Okay, so don't be deceived by the hippie, peaceful veneer that this movement is going to take. It's a chaotic movement. It always has been. It's satanic, but it comes masquerading as, oh, this is hippie, this is cool, man. Yeah, we're here for peace and love. But they're actually revolting. They're causing chaos. You see that? Anyways, moving on. So that's your history lesson. Now you know about what the 70s were really about. It was an occult awakening with a false revival of peace, a false love. And now we're seeing that respawning here today in our generation, especially coming from the left in America. Then the next thing to point out about the video is they go on to focus on obviously highlighting black people for the purpose of standing next to the Black Lives Matter movement. With this polarization that I was talking about, the left versus right, one of the elements is to make sure that, for the most part, the left is placed with the black communities, you know, Chicago and those, and then the right is the police, it's the state, and they pin those up against each other. So here they are just, you know, showing their allegiance and doing this. For those of you who don't know, Black Lives Matter was actually funded by $33 million by George Soros, a liberal billionaire. Okay, because he's trying to spur this, exactly what the movement is known for. Now, remember at the start I talked about the fact that Pepsi is pulling ads from YouTube because they're trying to flex their political muscle. Now, they're not admitting this publicly, but I'll show you how we know that to be the case. Do you see what they just did? They created a piece of political propaganda right here. This is their political opinion, and they've removed themselves from YouTube and they're advertising from YouTube, and they're hurting themselves by doing that, but they want to do it so bad and make a statement so bad because they're so politically invested in the world. And one of the changes that have taken place because of YouTube Gate is extreme monetization restrictions have been imposed over the last few weeks. All creators have noticed this. And guess what? Oh, when I talk about Black Lives Matter, I can't even monetize my videos anymore. But if I was pro Black Lives Matter, and I was saying that this is a great thing, and I was saying, you know, white privilege is the worst thing around, and I was speaking the narrative that Hollywood and the media and the mainstream want me to, I would be able to monetize the videos. But because I share 3 black men's messages to the black communities in America warning them about a race war, I wasn't even in that video, I just shared 3 black men's messages. Nope. No. This is the censorship, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going to an internet like that is regulated into the future, a YouTube that is regulated. You won't be able to say certain things, and this is one of the agendas. You will not be able to go up against the big left monster out there, basically. Okay? You'll be shut down. And this is really to show you, okay, that this is political in nature, this demonetization policy and this attempt by the mainstream media to defame and slander YouTubers for the purpose of putting these measures on and doing this. Anyways, we'll talk about that a little more. So, another thing too, I mean, Pepsi, come on. I mean, come on, that's not AGL. It's not a good look, seriously. I mean, you use Hollywood as the face of your political movement. And here's the thing that I find very interesting. For all of you who would identify yourself with this type of political ideology or viewpoint, those of you who would be part of such parades and going through this, do you not see that you're being supported by stupid Hollywood airheads who don't know nothing? Like Kendell, no offense to her, but let's just be real. These are not the intellects in society. And what is it up with Pepsi and Hollywood thinking that we need their political opinions when obviously Pepsi and Hollywood don't have a single clue what they're talking about? And I'm not going right or left, but I'm saying obviously, you know, this is some extreme stupidity. But anyways, another thing to highlight. Then they go on with this type of leftist liberal propaganda. They have their coexist type of, message here. You know, you got to show that an Asian guy drinks Pepsi too, because it's all about this inclusion, this coexisting. And I don't have a problem with people coexisting and getting along. But the problem is that we are living in a society now where everyone has these trigger words and hypersensitivities and needs safe spaces. And anytime you disagree with someone, like let's say I disagree with someone on just an issue like homosexuality being a sin, and not because I hate the person, just because it's a theological belief of mine, I'm automatically bigoted, hateful, and I might as well be a racist Nazi on top of that. That's the ridiculousness of today's world, and that's the ridiculousness that's coming from this left that's being stirred up into the society and the culture. Okay, so don't fall for it. Then I find it kind of interesting. They show these two girls, and this is the one thing as well with the liberals on the left. Again, not saying that the conservatives on the right are any better. There's some foolishness on that end too, and we could highlight that in other videos. But definitely one symptom of the left is you got a lot of stupid gangster wannabes and just people who think they're worldly and cool who are pretty dumb and don't actually have political views. Again, remember, these are the people that are following her. Okay, they're dumb enough to go out and, yeah, we're standing for some. You know what's funny? Go to these protests and these meetings and these rallies and actually ask these people, what are they there for? What's the agenda that they're there protesting? And what you're going to see is 90% of the time, they don't even have an answer. They're just out there because they've been stirred up by this herd mentality in society, this media that tells them that there's this revolution, these tweets that they see by Katy Perry, a puppet, and they get stirred up and they're not intelligent enough and conscious enough to have reason to not know that this is all just to make them look dumb. And then they go out there and they engage themselves in political action without actually even knowing why they're there. Just because it's cool. It's the trendy thing to do. What a sad and pathetic world. Then, of course, you know, Pepsi has to go into, if you don't believe in multicultural diversity and basically having nations without walls, then you're some bigoted racist. So they have to show you, you know, the Islamic woman. Now, there's some great Islamic people out there. I'm not just blanketing an entire religion, it's not a race, religion, and saying that all those who adhere to that religion are evil. I do say the religion is false, by the way. I'll just point that out. There is one way to Jesus, or God, and it is through Jesus. By grace you're saved, not through obeying any type of law, which is the mistake of the Jew and the mistake of the Muslim. They trust in their own righteousness and not the imputed righteousness of Christ that comes by the salvation of being born again. They don't get that, so they're damned. But anyways, one thing that just isn't a reality is multicultural diversity being a strength for a nation. It's just not. Do your history study. You're going to see that any type of nation that's done this, it's a bad thing. And Europe right now, and Germany and countries over there that have allowed these quote-unquote migrants to migrate into the countries, these refugees, there's some pretty crazy things going on. And you can go check out Black Pigeon Speaks videos. I've shared some of these informations with you, and there's some crazy things. I don't even want to talk about them, but it's something that we should be able to discuss. We should be able to talk about. I should be able to run an ad in front of a video where I talk about this. It shouldn't be considered hate speech. But immediately I say, you know what? Maybe multicultural diversity is not a good thing. We should, question these things. Look at the examples in Europe. Oh, no. You're a bigoted, racist Nazi. Okay, this is the world we live in, and you can't monetize any of that. Okay, but this has been for a long time, by the way. The new measures have not changed this. Islam has been protected for a long time on YouTube, and if you're a content creator that makes videos on Islam, you know that's been the case for a while. Then in the video, of course, more divide and conquer. You gotta do the police versus the black people in the protest, and then you have the transsexuals. Of course, part of the agenda, they're really pumping this. They're protecting them from even criticism. You have a whole group of individuals right now that are being promoted by the society, being protected even from any type of criticism. And they're trying to pump out these ideologies that there's no gender, there's no such thing as biological sexes like male and female, and they're literally just confused and they're wrong, and it's ridiculous. But of course, the left, they're all into protecting this. But again, I'm not hateful. I just disagree with them. But of course, you see the transgenders. And just a little side note as well, I shared a video on this channel from a historian who's in fact a lesbian. And she said that her study of history clearly showed that when you look at civilizations and the decadent phases of those civilizations, that what happens is there's symptoms of social acceptance of homosexuality, of bisexuality, pedophilia, transgender, the moral collapse immediately happens. Okay, so this is actually a historical symptom of a collapse of a society, and that's why we see this coming revolt, the coming civil war, the chaos that these guys are trying to engineer to bring down the sovereign nation in the United States of America and rise up the great phoenix out of that, the new world order that will rise out of the ashes of the chaos. And again, just to show you the new censorship laws, I can't talk about these things. This is Vinny, actually, from the Genderless Alien. He calls himself the Genderless Alien. He's from the TV show Plastics of Hollywood, which, by the way, for those of you wondering, I was supposed to interview, but because they were on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast and they were filming way too late, it was like midnight by the time they were available, I could not even think straight. I went to bed, we rescheduled, so I'll be having them on. But I can't even, a guy that I'm going to have on, okay, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of transgenders and people who are literally into cutting their genitals off and doing all these things. We're going to disagree on some very fundamental things in terms of how one achieves beauty and what true beauty is. I'm going to be arguing that it's internal, all these things. They're going to be arguing that it's done through plastic surgery and whatever. But why can't I disagree with them? Why can't I have them come on my show and still monetize my disagreement with them? Because there's an agenda here, guys. They're trying to brainwash us. And that's what this is all about. All right, everyone, so there you go. I wanted to put this out there. This is insane. Pepsi needs to be boycotted by all YouTubers for politically trying to shove their ideologies down our throats. We can't stand for this type of stuff. Companies have no right taking this type of stance. What they've done to YouTube, by the way, Pepsi, if you're listening, is pure wicked. There are vloggers and people who upload videos to this content, families who rely on the income that you have now brought down to nothing. Ad revenue is like 20% on YouTube. I'm going to be okay because of the size of my channel, but all these small channels, and some of them were families and just normal everyday people, you took them out of business and you really destroyed their lives this month. Why? So that you could push a political agenda? This especially? Wow. Have a blessed, wonderful day, everyone. Stay vigilant and fear no evil. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to watch my entire video up until this point. So I really do appreciate you. I know most of you that follow me all the way to the end are the loyal subscribers, so I really, really do appreciate you. As always, I'm just going to ask, well, now more than ever, it's a little important that you help out. You can do so by just smashing the like button and helping this video go a bit further. Now, for the bonus Bible study today, I wanted to quickly talk about where a Christian finds his or her strength. But before we do that, I just want to give also another few announcements. As we discussed in today's videos and other ones recently, YouTube is not going to be a platform moving forward that is going to be free and uncensored. So in order for me to remain uncensored and to continue to share with you the truth as I feel is necessary and I'm led by God, I've created my own website. So you can come and check it out, www.tvcfearnoevil.com. I've written these two articles here you might enjoy. 5 things you can do to be a vigilant Christian. The lonely Christian. I know many of you experience that as well. And we have some other great writers as well that have written some great articles. Feminism, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, The Horoscope Deception, Abortion from an Artist's Perspective, A Common Enemy. Just some great articles here. It really does help out too when you share the articles and you go and you spend time on the site and you sign up. It's going to be a way for us to stay in touch, and this is where I'm going to be working from now on, uncensored on my website. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick study here, and I'm getting this from Psalm 28 verse 7. The Lord is my strength and my shield, and my heart trusted in him, and I am helped. So here we see that a Christian doesn't find his or her strength within our own self. You know, that's kind of weird in today's world. We're actually told today, you got to be strong, you got to make it, you. And it's always this forcing of the will, forcing of the flesh, this exertion, this force that has to be done for a person to be strong. A Christian is completely different. We're talking about a surrendering posture. You now, for the purpose of being strong, identify or recognize your own weakness. It is in our weakness that we are strong. When we realize we are weak, we recognize the strength of the Almighty. And it is the strength of the Almighty that is the strength that a true believer has, not his or her own. So this is what's really important, and it's hard to kind of grasp our head around it. Yes, of course, there are times where you got to push forward and you got to, force through with God by the power of the Spirit. But mainly, this posture that a Christian has is a surrendered, yielded posture to the Lord and a recognition, a reliance on Him and His strength. When we recognize we can't do anything of our own and that we need Him, the good Father fulfills that. He does it through us. He gives us the strength. Okay? So I don't know what you're dealing with today. Maybe the issue is whatever you're trying to overcome or face, you're trying to do it in your own strength. You're forcing with your own will. You're kind of grinning down your teeth and you're trying to push through. Maybe it's time to just fall on your face and your knees and get down and surrender and just say, I can't do this, God. I give up. I surrender. Help. Help me. Please, good Father. Hear the heart cry of your child. Come and just plead to Dad to come and watch him come. Watch him work. Watch his strength work in your weakness. All right, everyone, so I pray that's a blessing to you. As I said, make sure you come over to the website, join the forum, sign up, create a profile, share the articles, come back daily. I really appreciate it. Have a blessed day. More videos to come.